All right, shalom, shalom, shalom.
All right, shalom, shalom, shalom.
Cool, cool, cool. Turn that back down. All right, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakwadash. All blessings, honor, glory, and power be unto the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahweh, through his only begotten Son, our Lord and our Savior, whose name is Yahweh Shai. And double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who taught me his truth, and salutations to the elect scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. All right. My name is Amor Gabar, and I'm back with another quick lesson. Lord willing, is edifying, straight into the point. And the title of this video is This is Very Likely to Happen. After all, we are in them times, and history repeats. So again, this is very likely to happen. After all, we are in them times, and history repeats. And, through the spirit, I had gotten a notification, from the news break, from the news article, and, it brought this topic to mind through the spirit. So I'm going to go through it real quick. And again, this is very likely to happen. And we, from the apostles on down, have been warning about said events getting ready to take place real soon, on this planet Earth, which is going to lead to great distress upon these nations. So the news article and the news break that came up in my feed today, it's entitled Vladimir Putin warns of threat of worldwide blackouts as NATO issues chilling warning. I'm going to read that article. That's from the MSN. This one is from the Mirror. It says Vladimir Putin could spark worldwide blackouts as NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, issues chilling warning. Another one, Daily Mail. Russia could cause worldwide internet blackouts by sabotaging undersea cables as NATO warned over danger posed to defenseless cables used for vital infrastructure. And the reason why I'm bringing this out is because we understand the motto of this man, and his motto is Order Ab Chaos. That's one of them. The other one is predictive programming. All right, predictive programming, or the revelation of the method. That's this man's motto. And all of this, I'm saying all this to say that Esau is putting it out there as to what we've been saying, that these events are likely to happen, because at the end of the day, this man has an agenda, and they're labeling it as the Great Reset. All right, when they're going to reset the world's economy, reset life as you know it, reset the financial system. Matter of fact, Pastor Tahar did the video on it, which I check this time from time to time. Like I'll say, like, if I'm in the spirit, I'll probably check it, or if I'm in the spirit of checking this particular thing out, I'll say, rather saying it like that, I may check up on it like once a week or every 2 weeks. But I'm talking about the gold and the silver. Right now, gold is, last time I checked, I was at work earlier today. I was watching the Pastor's video. It's around $3,250 something dollars, which is insane. Years ago, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, brothers, and even these certain people that watch, real money, would tell you that gold and silver is about to skyrocket and hit the, to the moon. So at the end of the day, the dollar is getting weak. It's about to be replaced. All right. And they need to do this somehow, somewhere. And the smartest way to do it, and the more efficient way to do it, would be by a great reset, an economic reset, and all these back and forth with the wars, the rumors of wars and all of this and all of that, is all the art of theater. I'm gonna say it like that: the art of theater, or the theatrics of war. All right, they're all in league with each other. At the end of the day, the goal is to accomplish this new world order. But somewhere along the lines, it's gonna get real thick. All right, it's gonna get real thick, and it's gonna become chaotic among the elites, the super rich, and these other nations, to where they're gonna be displeased at Babylon and pelt missiles at her. All right. But for the time being, it is what it is. And this is what's happening right now as we speak. So this is very likely to happen. After all, we are in them times, and history repeats. All right. So I'm going to click on one of these articles read through it a little bit, and get a couple precepts. So let me see. This is the Daily Mail. And as you see right there on the screen from the Daily Mail. All right. It says Russia could cause worldwide internet blackouts by sabotaging undersea cables, as NATO warned over danger posed to defenseless cables used for vital infrastructure. And just like them underwater, what was it? The gas lines that Babylon the Great, we believe that Babylon the Great sabotaged, right? And cut it, fucking up the gas line to them European nations, right? We believe that was the case because whoever benefits the most from a crisis are the ones that are really responsible for it happening to begin with. So, they're pinning the tail on the donkey, so to speak. Blaming Russia, putting Russia up as the boogeyman. But rightfully so, don't be surprised if Babylon is the one that actually does it. So let me read on. It says, Slovakia. It says Russia could trigger worldwide internet blackouts by sabotaging undersea cables with its shadow fleet. NATO defense chief have been warned. Telecom giants fear the critical network underwater cables are defenseless, and at the time of mercy, tyrant Vladimir Putin. Writing to the UK, EU, and NATO, firm includes Vodafone, O2 owner, Telefonica, and Orange, which I gotta look that up. I don't even know what that is. It says warned actions was needed to follow a string of suspected Russian attacks on data lines. So they putting it out there. It's a possibility that this shit could go down like that, and they're gonna blame it on Russia, blame it on the boogeyman. It says in a chilling opening letter to defense chiefs, the companies wrote, the repercussions of damage to subsea cables extend far beyond Europe, potentially affecting global internet and power infrastructure, international communications, financial transactions. Listen to these key words. Financial transactions, your money. All right. International communications. All right, that's exactly that. Every communication being cut off, period. All right, power to the infrastructure. It says, and critical services worldwide. Subsea cables security must be a cornerstone of the broader infrastructure protection effort. By acting now, we can safeguard the networks that underpin our shared future. More than 500 cables are used to carry about 95% of all international data. They crisscross the seabed, but their remote locations make them hard to defend. Several suspected sabotage attacks have already taken place, with defense sourcing pointing the fingers of blame squarely at Kremlin. Amid claims a shadow fleet of commercial vessels had been used, Russia has denied any involvement. The vast majority of attacks have taken place in the Baltic Sea, where 11 subsea cables have been damaged since October 2023. And I do remember that case, that situation, and that scenario going back. And we brought it up, discussions and topics and blowing the trumpet on that. It says similar outages have occurred in the North Sea. So, point is that prepare for a potential blackout. The grid just shutting down. However, whenever. And at the end of the day, when it does happen, because Babylon the Great wants it to happen, they're going to blame it on either Russia, China, Iran, or one of these nations that they have opposition towards against. All right. So don't be bamboozled. Don't be fooled. All right. So Russia could cause worldwide internet blackouts. Remember, the famine of the word is a thing. All right. The famine of the word must come to pass, which the famine of the word is this word, which a famine meaning the lack of bread or lack of water. This word is compared to food, bread, water, right? Honey, things that are essential to life. So famine is the lack of it. So eventually there will be a lack of this word being provided to the masses of people. Eventually it will happen. That's one. That's killing two birds with one stone. The other bird will be the financial destruction. All right. The grid down, power out, the money system as we know it have been hacked, it's been destroyed, and we got to start over again. So all these things are possible. All right, so you can look it up yourself. I typed in Vladimir Putin threats of worldwide blackouts as NATO issues chilling warning. So that was the warning from NATO. Let me read this real quick. Hold on one second. I got about a couple precepts, and I'm gonna close this out. So this is in the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 11. It says, I'm sorry, I'm start verse 10. It says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, which my people is talking about the Lord's people, his chosen, the elect, the Israelites. All right. The land of Egypt is talking about America. It says, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, which is his power. Because like it says in the book of Jeremiah chapter 16, that this deliverance is going to overshadow the deliverance that took place in ancient Babylon. All right. It's going to be forgotten about what took place during the time of Pharaoh, during the Egyptian Empire, as compared to what's about to happen. So the Lord is saying, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, which that's Yahweh Shai. All right. The Heavenly Father is on the right hand side of Yahweh, of the Most High Yahweh, is Yahweh Shai. So that's his power. All right. That's his son, his strength, So he's going to come and bring forth his elect with a mighty and stretched out arm. It says, and smite Egypt with plagues as before. So Egypt is going to be smitten with plagues as before. As it did in the ancient world, Egypt is about to be smitten with plagues just like it was before. And I'm about to read one of the plagues. It says, and will destroy the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plagues and the punishment that the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai shall bring upon it. So what happened in ancient Egypt that's about to repeat itself, as in the title where it says history repeats? History does repeat itself. What happened during that time? When you go over to the book of the book of Exodus, the 10th chapter with the plagues, that would be the 9th plague. But let me read this. This is the AI overview. It says, the darkness in Egypt refers to the 9th plague mentioned in the book of Exodus, where a period of total darkness covered the land for 3 days. During this time, Egyptians couldn't see each other or move from their homes. So think about it. You're in a situation where you can't see the person in front of you, eye to eye, standing right there in front of you, sitting right there in front of you, or laying right there in front of you. You cannot see shit. All right? You can't see nothing. It says they couldn't see each other or move from their homes. I'm going to read that. They couldn't even move from their homes because it was so dark. The safest bet was to stay put. That's how dark it got. And it's going to get so dark in this society that everybody's safest bet is going to be to just stay home. All right, stay home and stay put. Because you are going to reach and encounter great evils and calamity if you even dare to step outside your homes. As the Lord plagued the Egyptians and put fear in their hearts, he's going to do that to the modern day Egyptians. So it says, during this time, Egyptians couldn't see each other or move from their homes, but the Israelites, had light in their dwelling. You see that? Imagine that. It's so dark. The plagues are all over the place, right? Just consuming the place. Blackness, darkness. But the Israelites were the only ones that had light in their dwellings. We could read that in the book of Exodus. And that's exactly what's going. If it happened back then, why can't Yahweh Shema Shai do the same thing now for the believers, for the elect? In other words, there's a total blackout. The Lord can make it to where you have light within your dwellings. Somehow, somewhere, somehow your power, at which, I think I mentioned this in a video years ago. I had a dream about that. And now it came back to me because I don't always remember my dreams or whatever, or visions. I remember that shit went total black and total dark, but I was in a house that was the only house that had lights. And then all the people that were outside in darkness came to me, came to the house, and I guess they were trying to inquire like what's going on, why I got light. And it got a little tense in the dream with the situation. I don't remember much about it, but it just came back to me. But the Lord can't do that. Give you light in your dwelling while everything else is dark. And that's part of the miracles that the Lord's getting ready to show. So reading on in the AI overview, it says, according to Exodus 10 and 21 through 23, the Most High instructed Moses to stretch his hand towards the sky, bringing darkness upon Egypt. This darkness was so intense that it could be felt. Imagine that. It's so dark that you could feel the shit. It's thick darkness that you could feel it. I can't imagine that. I could try to imagine it, but I could imagine it, but I can't really fathom that shit, because I've never been in that situation in this lifetime, and Lord willing, not in that lifetime, because if Lord willing, you were there, we had light in our dwelling, so we wouldn't even know what it felt like to begin with. But that's coming back. It's gonna get so dark that you can't even that you could feel the thickness of the darkness. You light a match or lighter, and the light gets consumed within the darkness. That's how bad it got. So it says that was total darkness, and it says Israelites light. It says in contrast to the darkness that engulfed Egypt, the Israelites had light in their homes. And I definitely had that dream years ago. Don't remember much about it. It just came to my mind. I totally forgot about it up until now. But the Israelites had light in their homes. So don't be surprised, bros. We talking about this, prepare for total darkness and blackouts. But if you part of the elect, the Lord could very well bring back this same type of scenario and situation and make you have light in your home. Remember, the scriptures say, then shall be known that a prophet had been among them. Then shall be known that they are my chosen, and all these different precepts and scriptures. For you elect brothers out there that the Lord is dealing with, you may have light in your dwelling when this shit go down. Your power is working. Hey, shit, your internet is working. Your outlets, your generate, whatever. It's all working. It happened back then, it can happen now. Which, let me read that real quick. Again, 2nd Ezra 15 and 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before. So if it happened before, it'll happen again. It says, and will destroy all the land thereof. And Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plagues that and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. So we are living in a time where we're going to witness and see the plagues that Yahweh Shema Shai is about to bring upon his place. And darkness is part of it. So I just want to bring that out, showing you and emphasizing how the Lord can very well bring forth that darkness again. And all it takes is a blackout. Nigga can't see. He can't cook. He can't do shit. This society is fully thriving off of that grid. Once it's shut down and the power is out, it's a wrap. All right, so we do have an example right here that's written in the book of Exodus, chapter 17, and I'll start at 1. It says, for great are thy judgments and cannot be expressed. Therefore, unnurtured souls have erred. All right, unnurtured souls have erred, meaning they went off. It says, when the unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation, they being shut up. Now, in this particular chapter and verse, the unrighteous nation is talking about the Egyptians. All right, because what we're about to read about is the destruction that took place and came upon the Egyptians. All right, so it says, for when the unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation, they being shut up in their houses, the prisoners of darkness, and fettered with the bonds of a long night. Fetter mean to be in prisons, in prison. All right, fetter with iron mean to be locked up. All right, so locked up with the bonds of a long night, lay there exiled from the eternal providence, aka Egypt. It says, for while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions. When you look up the word apparitions, it goes into ghosts or spirits. All right, ghosts and spirits. So actual spirits and ghosts or demons or angels actually haunted the Egyptians when it got dark. You know, the boogeyman came out. The real boogeyman came out when it got dark. You know, niggas are scared of the dark. You know, who's not, you know, all these heathens that are unbelievers, they're scared of the dark. So when it got dark, the Lord brought more haunting and taunting type of apparitions upon them. It says, verse 4, for neither might the corner that held them keep them from the fair. You know, hiding in the corner. You know, you always see it in the movies when somebody's scared. Let's say they saw a ghost, and then, you know, they run, they hiding, and then a person walk in the room to check up on them. They sitting in the corner somewhere, you know, on the floor with their knees bent to the ceiling and their arms wrapped around their knees with their head to their bosom, you know, scared, and their teeth chattering. They scared as shit, you know? So they in a corner hiding, scared. So anyway, it says, for neither the corner that held them kept them from fear. So they were still scared. But noise, and showing you that's that heathen trait. You always see heathens, Edomites in them scary movies and shit, running in a corner, you know, all curled up in a fetal position, hiding. You know, Jake don't do shit like that. You know, you don't see Jake doing shit like that. But anyway, it says, but noises as of waters falling down sounded about them, and sad visions appeared unto them with heavy countenance. So they seen shit. They started seeing shit. When it get dark out here, when the lights go out, the blackouts, the grid down, power out scenarios, you know it's the end. You know everybody fucked up. You fucked up. All right, these people fucked up. When the Lord bring total darkness upon Babylon, it is the end. All right, it's the beginning of the end. People are gonna start seeing demons. You know, their consciousness is gonna haunt them. Their fear are gonna fall upon them. All right, they're gonna be astonished with great fear. All right, and that's what we're reading about. The Egyptians felt it, so the modern day Egyptians are gonna feel it. Shit's gonna get real fucked up out here, man. So verse 5 says, no power of the fire might give them light. So you can't even light a fire, a match, a candle, or anything to get light. The darkness was so thick, it consumed all of that, and it could be felt. That's what's coming to America. It says, neither could the bright flames of the stars endure to lighten that horrible night. Only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself, very dreadful, which is a spirit. It says, for being much terrified, they thought the things which they saw to be worse than the sight they saw not. So the spirits that they seen appeared to be worse than the spirits that they didn't see, or their thoughts or imaginations and apparitions that they seen in the darkness were. All right, so what they say, hey, it's gonna get fucked up out here, bro. All things are about to repeat itself. It says, only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself, very dreadful. For being much terrified, they thought the things which they saw to be worse than the sight they saw not. As for the illusion of the art magic, they were put down. So them magi's back then during the time of the ancient Egypt, trying to compete against Moses and Aaron with their magic tricks and shit, they ain't had nothing to say about this. They couldn't replicate this. They couldn't do nothing. They were confounded. All right, they were confounded. Okay, it says they were put down, and their vaunting in wisdom was reproved with disgrace. For they that promised to drive away terrors and troubles from a sick soul were sick themselves of fear, worthy to be laughed at, which is them magi's. It says, for though no terrible thing did fear them, yet being scared with beasts that passed by and hissing of serpents, they died, denying that they saw the air which could of no side be avoided. So, hey, the Lord that's another thing. Remember, the Lord said that these wild beasts are going to remove out of their places. You know, I'm just reading and emphasizing how scary and fucked up it's going to be for these people out here, man. It's going to get real bad. And that's why I said in the title, this is very likely to happen. After all, we are in them times. All right, we are in them times, and Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17, is very likely to happen. All right, very likely to happen. So let me see. So that's it. I'm gonna end that on that. Let me see. I believe I may have another precept. Give me a minute. So that was that. All right, so that's all I had. Let me read a precept off the comment board, and I'm gonna end this lesson. And Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Barakatham to the Lord's elect, Shalom. And this is put up by Hopeful Elect 12 Tribes, and it says, 2nd Ezra chapter 8 and verse 50. It says, for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. So many great miseries is coming. And I read about one of the miseries. When darkness fall, that's when it's a wrap. These people going to lose their mind. They're going to bug out. All right, they're going to bug out. They're going to trip out. And there's going to be a grid down, power out situation. There's a whole documentary on that. I think it's called Grid Down, Power Out, something like that, or Grid Down. I forget the dude, the Edomite dude that put it up, or white looking dude that put it up. But it's an actual documentary. You know, which is a good documentary I watched years ago. All right. This is Ecclesiastes 3 and 15. That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been. And the Most High required that which is past. Which that's talking about man, you know, and furthermore, man typically come back doing exactly what they did in their past lives, which is why history repeats itself. Because the same spirit are coming back. So if you was, that's why the scriptures say the spirit of the prophet is subject to the prophet. So the prophet did what he did in the ancient world, and in all his lifetimes, he's going to come back doing the same thing. So history, or that course of time, will repeat itself as it did when that prophet was there in the ancient world or in this previous life. So all the wicked that's here doing what they doing, they're repeating exactly what they did in their old previous carnations. That's why history repeats itself. So what we've seen is the wicked about to be destroyed as it did in the ancient world, because, you know, history repeats itself. So I'm going to end it right there, you know, Lord willing. This is quick, fast, straight to the point. And there's one video I'm going to play. It's like probably not even 30 seconds long. And this is short, and then I'm going to close out. So hold on. Let me put it up on the screen, and I'm going to end it.
Science fiction. Think again. NATO's.
And this is
blackouts are just science.
I'm sorry. This is put up by, because I put it up in the YouTube, and this is put up by New News Net. All right. and they just speaking about it for like a quick 30 seconds, and I'm gonna close it out. So you can watch it and listen.
If you think blackouts are just science fiction, think again. NATO's latest warning could change everything. Vladimir Putin has issued a threat that could lead to worldwide blackouts. NATO has responded with a chilling warning, urging global vigilance. The specifics of the threat remain unclear, but the gravity of the situation cannot be overstated. Are we prepared for the potential impact on our daily lives? Stay tuned to New News Net for updates. Like and subscribe to stay informed. If you think blackouts are just science fiction, think again.
That's it. So anyway, with that, I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Shalom to the elect. Till next time, shalom.